Online retailer TakeAlot.com has raised more than $100 million for expansion plans into South Africa and sub-Saharan Africa. Reid, Chief Executive of TakeAlot.com, joins us now from our Cape Town studios for more. Kim, thanks for joining us today. Perhaps if you can elaborate a little bit further on this 100 million rand into an emerging company. It's a fairly big deal. How did it come about?
Thanks very much for having me. We've been growing the business for the past 3.5 years. We're an online retailer, and we think that Africa, and South Africa particularly, is a great market. And our shareholders have put their money where their mouths are, and they've backed us to grow even faster than we're growing right now and to expand into the rest of Africa.
Kim, $100 million, I mean, that's R1 billion. That's a serious investment. How did you get to know the guys from Tiger, the old Julian Robertson? I'm sure there is a relationship between them still.
Yes, there is actually. In fact, I've met Julian before in New York. Tiger and I have had a relationship since my days at Naspers. I was with Naspers for many years, and when I decided to go on my own and do something on my own, Tiger approached me, and they said, let's do something in South Africa. And in October 2010 we reached a deal where we bought a small online retailer at that stage called Take2. And TakeAlot today is really the result of growing that business over the last 3.5 years with Tiger's backing.
Why did you go that route? Why acquire something that was, as you say, small and currently existing, rather than just starting from scratch?
I think it's probably just my nature. I prefer taking something and growing it into something bigger. It had a little bit of momentum at that stage. It had a customer base. It had technology behind it. And we could actually take the current base and change things into what we wanted to. You know, going greenfields has a plethora of problems, and not only in just starting the customer base and getting that flywheel started. The greenfield approach is a difficult approach, and look, effectively, you know, when you look back at things, maybe greenfield would have been a good thing to do. You know, we face and have faced certain problems with what we've got today, but things are going well, and it seems to have been the right choice.
Kim, looking at your team, you've got no shortage of talent. Some of them are from Naspers, like yourself, Amazon, as well as Google as well.
Yes, we'll actually put a press release out next week announcing Willem van Biljon, who's coming on board, which gives us great technical credence in the market. You know, Willem's a fantastic guy, a highly intelligent guy. He's started some great businesses in his time, and he's decided to join us, which I think is a nod of approval in our direction. The rest of the guys on the team are all fantastic people in their own right, have had experience also from the Amazon side. My CFO has been with me for 13 to 14 years, probably thinks he's mad, but he has still stayed with me. And you know, the rest of the team are really strong guys. We've got a fantastic team and a fantastic opportunity.
Kim, just a little tip. If you're going to put out a press release, make sure it's new news, because Willem's appointment is on your website already. I actually thought he was part of your team. But just to go back to that $100 million, is that all going to be in working capital? Is that a injection to maybe allow you to grow exponentially?
So we're growing at a very rapid rate at the moment, and one thing's for sure is that e-commerce takes cash to build a substantial business. So we're going to be putting that into working capital, technology, warehousing and logistics, and increasing our human capital. And we're also going to be looking at expansion into sub-Saharan Africa. You know, our sub-Saharan Africa plans are confidential at the moment. We have got ambitions, but we're first going to consolidate in South Africa.
Are you competing head-on with your old friends, no doubt, at Kalahari.com?
Yes, we are, and we believe that within the near future we'll be larger than they are.
Kim, looking at other expansions that you have, India, China and Brazil, surely there must be lessons that South Africa can learn from those kind of economies, which has picked up to e-commerce quite strongly.
So we're very fortunate in having Tiger as a shareholder, because we get to learn lessons from the likes of Flipkart in India, Netshoes in Brazil and JD.com for that matter in China. The reason we started this business is because there is tremendous opportunity in e-commerce. Our thesis is that the only way we won't succeed is if we don't execute correctly. The market's there. The world is growing at a prodigious rate in the e-commerce space. And if South Africa and Africa is the only country and continent that doesn't do that, well, I'm prepared to take that bet.
Are you basing yourselves on Amazon.com? And I mean that for a couple of reasons. When you describe yourselves, largest, simplest, but more importantly, most customer-centric. That's very much a Bezos approach. And the second thing related to that, he hasn't turned a profit, I don't think yet. Are you looking at the same thing? Build and grow and perhaps lose money now, but reap many years into the future?
So e-commerce is a scale business, and you need to get to scale. In order to get to scale, you need to spend cash, and you need to lose money in the short term to make money in the long term. So we are following a similar approach. Are we similar to Amazon? I suppose we do learn lessons from Amazon, there's no doubt about that. E-commerce is something that you have to be customer-centric about to make it work. We obsess about the customer. We believe truly customer-centric. We don't get it right every single time, but that is our ambition. So I suppose, yes, you could say we do take a couple of pages out of Amazon's playbook.
Very quickly, what kind of annual growth rates are you achieving and projecting?
So if you look at retail in this country, retail in South Africa is sitting at 550 billion rand. E-commerce right now is probably around about 1%, maybe 1.2% of total retail. If you look at the likes of developed markets like the UK and the US, the UK is predicted to be 23% penetrated e-commerce of retail in 2016, and the States is predicted to be around about 12 to 14% at the moment and growing very strongly. So if you look at those numbers, we think there's just a tremendous market out there. Our growth rates at the moment are in excess of 100%, and there's no reason why we can't keep those growth rates growing for the foreseeable future.